We welcome you again to the World Ultimate Club Championships outside of Cincinnati. It is round 3 of day 4. It is time for the Sweet 16 in the men's division. And this matchup features CUSB out of Italy and Nomadic Tribe from Japan. It is great to have you with us alongside Ian Toner. I am Evan Leffler. CUSB won their pool, successfully navigated through power pools, a loss to Ring of Fire, but no other setbacks. So they were in the Sweet 16 without having to play this morning. Nomadic Tribe, on the other hand, needed Universe Point to get by Dominican Republic's Relampagos. They started on D on Universe. They successfully got a turn and scored, and here they are. Ian Toner, what do you give the Japanese in terms of chances against this Bologna powerhouse?
Well, we were talking with some of the leadership of Bologna before this game started, and something that the Nomadic Tribe are going to present that the CUSB defense has not seen is incredible first step quickness and fast-paced disc movement. It's a new style of offense that they haven't had to deal with yet in this tournament. I'd say this presents a new challenge for the CUSB defense, and Nomadic Tribe is playing with house money from here on out.
Starting the Sweet 16, winner of this game will advance to a quarterfinal against the winner of Canada Goat and Great Britain's Chevron Action Flash. This morning, crossover play, advancing into the Sweet 16 bracket, and the Bologna team has looked as the strongest team in Europe so far here at the World Championships.
Their defense has been on another level.
It has.
I think their man-to-man pressure has been unparalleled, and that's a testament to the entire program's commitment to fitness. They can roll out multiple D-lines and take on multiple matchups without great difficulty. I think the biggest thing holding them back is their offensive consistency, especially against some of the high-powered American defenses. We saw them hitting a little roadblock yesterday against Ring and power pools. And their offense is just going to have to come together in a more cohesive manner, fight through that pressure if they are to advance deeper into the bracket.
Luca Tognetti practicing his pulls. He suffered a broken nose earlier in the tournament, missed some time, but now he has a mask. He's playing today. We've learned that he has a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so he may not be able to play in the quarterfinals tomorrow if Bologna advances, but he's a nice addition, adding another young stud to this team that is a mix of youth and veterans. Many of the players that won silver medals at the U24 World Championships in Perth, Australia this January. And Nomadic Tribe, long the younger brother in Japanese Ultimate to the great program, powerhouses, former world champions, Buzz Bullets. But one of the clouds hovering over this World Championship event is that the Buzz Bullets are not here. So that leaves Nomadic Tribe to hold the torch for Japanese Ultimate. And they have put together a respectable performance. Watched them a bunch against San Francisco Revolver, the top seed yesterday. It was 8-7 at the half. Final was 15-10. But there's something about these Japanese teams, Ian, that fluster their opponents. They play a style filled with quickness and fundamentals and deception that can catch opposing teams off guard.
I think back to my experience in Lecco playing with Johnny Bravo in 2014, and we actually did match up against the Nomadic Tribe squad, and the first O point for our team, an underneath cut, our first receiver looks upfield for a continuation. Nomadic Tribe earns a hand block on the second pass of the entire O-line performance, and that was just indicative of their intensity. And we knew they were there to play. They had shown up. They weren't intimidated by the larger American contender presence. And certainly Buzz Bullets have been the class of the Japanese delegation for quite some time. But as you mentioned, Nomadic Tribe has been representing the delegation quite well so far at 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships.
Tognetti will pull, and this Sweet 16 game in bracket play in the men's division is underway, and Tognetti could have used a few more practice pulls because his one sails well out of bounds, about 40 yards wide of the field. A quick rundown of what the Sweet 16 looks like. Top of the bracket, Revolver from the USA versus Free Speed from Switzerland. General Strike taking on Chalk. Canada, France will likely get Revolver if they can prevail. Goat Chevy, CUSB, Nomadic Tribe, the other teams in the top half of the bracket. In the bottom, it's Double Wide versus Comunidad El Oso. Germany's Bad Skid versus Clapham. Raleigh's Ring of Fire and Euphoria. And the Australia-New Zealand showdown, Colony and Wildcats. And the huck goes up. Otani overshoots Katsuhite Hori. And CUSB's defense will have an early chance to break.
Well, one thing we know about Japanese offense is that its hucks, whether they're mid-range, long-range, are always going to be executed with severe angle and sharp edge. And when that happens, it leaves very little margin for error. When you miss your target like you do there, quick turnover.
But an even quicker giveaway. Quickness is the characteristic that best captures this Japanese team. Takuya with a stall count rising. Oh, and a couple different members of the tribe had a chance. Quickly, deep shot goes up. Tognetti rises up, floats it to the end zone. That's a dangerous throw into this wind, and that's the type of decision that will drive a coach crazy.
And that's the type of decision that will cost CUSB a quarterfinal should they advance out of this round. The Americans and North American teams in general aren't going to give you the disc back this many times in a point.
Hinemoto on the under. Kentaro Nakao. And the center handler, Takuya.
You can hear the wind bristling in our microphones here. It started off today as a little bit of a crosswind, but it's moved a little more diagonally across this field, somewhat at the backs of the Nomadic Tribe throwers on this offensive point.
Komori near the sideline makes the catch. And Bologna frustrated. You see the disappointment on the faces of the Italian team as Japan delivers an opening hold.
No doubt the Bologna defense had multiple opportunities to break there, and again, that D-line offensive patience is what's separating this Bologna squad from being a legitimate championship contender, in my estimation. And once Nomadic Tribe is able to settle down in the red zone, no surprise to see Komori grabbing that goal there. He's Nomadic Tribe's leading goal scorer coming into this game. At the start of the day, he had 13 goals. A nose for the end zone indeed.
Ken Nemoto picks up the assist. When you look at the whole bracket here, Ian, obviously 8 teams are coming in fresh to these round of 16 games, and 8 teams had to advance and win this morning. You'd have to think Nomadic Tribe, just because of their style and their mystery, has as good of a chance as any in their pre-quarterfinal game.
There's something to be said for, in this modern age of Ultimate where there's proliferation of streaming, broadcasting, tape delay, film of teams, there's something to be said for that element of surprise when no one's been able to watch film on you, or there's very limited film on you, and I think that plays to Nomadic Tribe's benefit.
It's a limited film. The Nomadic Tribe versus Buzz Bullets 2018 Japan national title game was held not all that long ago. Buzz Bullets winning that game 14-8 in a game that was fairly typical of Japanese Ultimate. Nomadic Tribe was good, Buzz Bullets were better. Buzz Bullets will be at the US Open less than a month from now in Minnesota. So that will be interesting. Tim Sang, Canadian-born, Montreal-educated, Vancouver resident, and through the contact, Arturo Laffy delivers a strike to Mitterer, and we're tied at 1.
Assist number 13 of the tournament for Arturo Laffy, figuring prominently in the Bologna offense, and nice transition from Bologna once they moved into the red zone, establishing that vertical stack, and some poaches breaking down, leaving Wolfgang Mitterer all alone in that front corner.
Tremendous job with the enunciation there and the accent. I'm envious, my friend.
Well, I have to say, this has been one of the most enjoyable parts of this tournament. You know, as you and I prepare for each of our broadcasts, we meet with the coaches and captains of each teams and run through all of the rosters, making sure we're doing our best effort to get everyone's name announced correctly in front of the viewers around the world. And it's been great to learn about the different elements of enunciation and cultures around the world.
I was working on my Japanese before the game. I'm gonna give it the best shot. Bologna on the pull. Nomadic Tribe into the hands of Hona. What stands out most to you about the way Bologna defends? As the shot goes up, Nakao to Hona, just shy of the goal line. And a nice little S-cut. Nomadic Tribe into the hands of Otani for the score.
Well, number one, I'd say their fitness across the board is not a question. You'll see some teams out here that will send out D-lines where maybe, you know, 5, 6, 7 guy is definitely a handler defender, maybe not in the best shape, but the fitness is not a question. And then strategically, I think they're more advanced in their use of body positioning to dictate to the downfield receivers, not afraid to initiate contact within the boundaries of the rules, of course, but that aggression and mindset of using your body to control where the offensive receiver is going to go, it's not something that every defender or D-line unit at this tournament has.
Feels like they're striving to be aggressive and sophisticated at the same time.
Can't argue with that.
So 2-1. CUSB had a chance to break on the opening point, could not do so. Last 2 points have been turnover-free holds. Of course, yesterday afternoon, we watched a power pool game here on this field between Sydney's Colony and Toronto Goat, where there was only one break in the entire game. Goat winning 15-13. The lone break was a Mario Zlatic leaping sky to make it 4-3. There were holds the rest of the way. Oh, contact. Hermitslev into the body of Nishinaka.
Well, it looked like the Nomadic Tribe defender had the space, but Hermitslev was doing everything he could to just reach around and make a play without initiating contact. As they both approach the space there. And the momentum just carrying his Hermitslev's shoulder straight into the head of Ishii.
Wonder from the reverse angle, would we be able to see who got the disc first? It was right in front of us, and it was still really hard to tell.
Goodness.
So you want to be a game advisor or an observer or a referee. They're going to contest it, send it back. Bologna's going to keep the disc. I think if I had to make a ruling, I would say Japan got it first, but it was split second.
I'd agree with that one. But I wouldn't bet my life savings on it.
No. So Bologna maintains possession. This is Rumi Tejpar to Simone Gasparini. Nomadic Tribe in zone defense here. Can Bologna exude patience against the Japanese zone? That question might determine who wins this game.
As you mentioned, Evan, that power pool game we were fortunate to call yesterday. Just one break, and the winner of this game will be advancing against GOAT, and their discipline is going to be difficult to match.
Presuming GOAT gets by Chevron Action Flash, which I think we would mostly presume.
I'll gladly take some heat from Chevy fans on social media for making that assumption.
Japan looking for the break. Niwa fires deep, and now the reset for Yoshida. And there was contact. The foul on Fabio Coppi. Nomadic Tribe in the red zone. Tejpar can't get the hand block, and the Tribe have broken Bologna. Don't underestimate this Japanese team. Whether it's the Buzz Bullets or Nomadic Tribe, they are a fierce competitor, and they're up an early break in the round of 16.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Onishi with the goal for Nomadic Tribe, and it's 3-1. Japan leads Bologna. We've arrived at the time in this tournament where legacies are created. You win this game, you're in the quarterfinals. You're in the top 8. You lose this game, the best you can finish is 9th, and there will be a sour taste in your mouth thinking about the missed opportunity. And I think it's fair to say these are two programs that both envision themselves being in the top 8 in the world. That's the magic nature of sports. Only one can stake that claim by the end of this game. Tim Sang, Rumi Tejpar, and Tommaso Francini working against this Japanese zone. This huck goes up. 2 Bologna players are there, and it's easily snagged by Simone Gasparini for the cusp hold, 3-2.
Well, something we talked about when we covered the CUSB Oso matchup earlier in this tournament was the presence of so many expats and non-Italians on this Bologna O-line. Rumi Tejpar, Tim Sang, 2 of them. Gasparini, one of the lone Italian mainstays.
And to the expats' credit, we saw some of the Americans on Bologna at an Italian restaurant last night. So at least they're trying to embrace the Bologna culture.
Absolutely right. And of course, just fueling up for the next day's competition, not celebrating anything just yet.
Like we did as well. Important to get your carbs before a long day of broadcasting. At least that's what I tell myself. Please don't tell me otherwise, because I know you're probably more nutritious than I am. In fact, I know that for sure, for certain. So Nomadic Tribe back on offense. Nomadic Tribe in pool play went 3-1. The lone loss was a 2-goal game against Germany's Bad Skid, 15-13.
And just a reminder to everyone, we're going to have that Bad Skid Clapham matchup coming up for you next after this match concludes.
I think there's some folks in Europe maybe interested in how that game unfolds. Looking for Kamori, he's got it. Beating Giovanni to the disc. That looks like a double team.
Anything looks like a double team with Michael Geisel in the area.
With the reset, Hona, and a stoppage. Yeah, wild Clapham Ragnarok crossover game to get into the round of 16 this morning.
When we walked over to the fields, Ragnarok, featuring many former Clapham players, had stormed out to a 3-0 lead.
Another hold for Nomadic Tribe. Hona with the assist to Namoto.
And just as quickly as it was 3-0 in Ragnarok's favor, Clapham then went on a 7-0 run and an 8-1 run to close out the half and put any upset hopes to bed.
You don't see too many games that start 3-0 and then go 8-1 the other way. Right now 4-2, one break is the difference. And that's the quick disc movement from Nomadic Tribe. We see that a lot from that part of the world.
Yeah, talking to some of the Dominican Republic players who lost on double game point in the previous round, they just mentioned that Nomadic Tribe was willing to dump and swing the disc in the red zone as many times as necessary until they found a look that was greater than 90%. And that's the kind of patience and discipline that improves your D-line offense's efficiency.
CUSB with the disc.
Looked like some confusion downfield from the cutting core, unsure of who was going to initiate.
Mitterer, no, cannot get there. Nomadic Tribe rejoices on the sideline. They still have work to do though.
70 yards for the break. And not a clean start to that offensive point for Bologna. Some confusion about who was initiating. It looked like they kind of transformed their offensive cutting from a horizontal stack to a vertical stack in the first few seconds.
Looking long for perhaps the tallest member of the tribe, and an easy catch for Harito Hashiguchi. Nishinaka able to holster it up the line. Resets for Ishii. Nishinaka is in the end zone. Nomadic Tribe breaks again. It's 5-2.
Well, we see the Bologna squad calling a timeout after this break, and this offense needs to reorient itself. They've had a tough time getting these points started and haven't defended well after the turnover, and the difference has been the discipline and the prudence between these two D-line offensive units.
And it's no surprise to see discipline from a team like Nomadic Tribe. They may not have the straight line sprinting speed like Bologna has. They may not have the height or the leaping ability, but quickness and discipline. And they're winning the battle so far. A third of the way through, it's 5-2. And their style of play, even flustered revolver. Several members of that San Francisco juggernaut said to me on the sideline, like, they get so nervous playing against the Japanese teams. And a lot of it is the performance the Buzz Bullets made representing Team Japan in London in the final 2 years ago, pushing that American all-star team to the brink in one of the great ultimate showcases we've ever seen. And this is not the Buzz Bullets, but just like Ring is not Revolver, the second best American team is still pretty darn good. And I think right now you could say Japan is second to the United States in national ultimate prestige.
I'm sure the Colombians would love to have a word or two about that, but
I stand by it. Certainly the Colombian women are unbelievable, but the Colombian men are not at that level. And we see the Japanese men and women both regularly in the mix in recent years. And the Canadians might try to make their case too. Rumi Tejpar. Oops. Bologna's back's against the wall right now. Wide open Onishi underneath. So you look at every matchup on the field, Ian, and the white-shirted player is shorter in almost every situation. Onishi utilizes the pivot, nice angled throw. Nozonmu Niwa to the end zone and over the head of Shuhei Omotani.
A rare lapse in discipline there from the Nomadic Tribe D-line offense. That's such a tough throw. Pinpointing a flick all the way over the stack. There's so much traffic that throw has to go over. Not to mention the crosswind pushing the face of that disc down. And this is exactly where the Nomadic Tribe zone want the Bologna throwers to be.
That was just a foolish decision. Not sure what Laffey was thinking. He threw it right to the defender. Tunnel vision to an open player long downfield, but even if that got by the initial player, it was going to float for a while and perhaps go out of bounds. Ishii over to Yamaguchi, swings it to Niwa. Onishi comes to. Oftentimes, defenses relish holding teams on the goal line. But when you're going against the Japanese, if they force you to work for an extended period of time, with their discipline, they can still win the battle. And it's 6-2, Nomadic Tribe. They won on Universe this morning, beating Relampagos starting on D on the climactic point. And that's 3 breaks to make it a 6-2 lead in the opening half.
If you want to be a high performer, eat like one. Start with a balanced diet and drink plenty of water. Good nutrition is one of the best ways to boost your mental and your physical health.
The vibes are excessively positive on the Nomadic Tribe sideline. A 6-2 lead over the gentleman from Bologna, Italy. And it has been a combination of things that have led to this disastrous start, Ian Toner, for the Italians. We've seen some nerves, we've seen some poor discipline, and we've seen a lack of quickness and ability to defend the Japanese offense.
Yeah, this Bologna O-line has been struggling after turnovers to put any meaningful sustained pressure on the Nomadic Tribe D-line offense. And their patience has given them this 6-2 lead.
Shot goes up. Gasparini is there.
Well, a bright spot for the Bologna offense. Simone Gasparini finding space in the deep lanes. And it looked like there was a lot more comfort and fluidity in the Bologna handler set as they worked through those first few looks from the Nomadic Tribe defense.
Bruno Mine with the assist, and Gasparini has scored 2 of the 3 Italian goals. He scored the last 2 as a matter of fact, but Nomadic Tribe scored 3 times in between. Gasparini, 21-year-old physics student, one of the many silver medalists from Perth, Australia on this CUSB squad. There you see the mask on the face of Tognetti. Can they stop the Japanese offense? They have not yet. They had a chance to break them on the opening point, but could not convert. And that pull sails wide and far out the back.
Seems to be some discussion on the sideline about where exactly that disc went out of bounds, as Nomadic Tribe could earn some more yardage beyond the brick mark to get things started.
Nemoto leading Nomadic Tribe in assists at the World Ultimate Club Championships will initiate play. He and Taku Hona, each with 15 assists entering this game. Wide open underneath. And there's a mistake, but a foul. No contest. Jordan Taylor got him on the arm.
And this is one place that Bologna can use its size to its advantage, using their lanky marks to challenge those tough inside throws and force Nomadic Tribe to get incredibly wide on its pivots and stop those inside gut shots.
Thomas Edmonds marking Kentaro Nakao. Takuya. Miscommunication, but it worked out. Hono was there, and a foul called on Davide Mori. Davide, the leader of this Bologna program, with an unparalleled knowledge of ultimate from the Italian perspective. Nemoto, the lefty, spins it to Takuya.
And it looks like the Bologna defense is trying to force all throws to the middle of the field, changing to a flick force when it gets to the near half of the field and switching to a backhand force over on the opposite side.
So Hona apologized to Bruno Mine for the push-off. So Katsuhite Hori keeps the disc. Another hold for the Japanese.
And just a defensive breakdown there in the red zone for CUSB after putting such good pressure on the Nomadic Tribe throwers on the first 3 quarters of the field. Just some simple breaks of the mark in the most crucial yardage. It's so tough for those downfield defenders to recover when you're on the doorstep of the goal line.
Hori to Komori. Ian, can you put in perspective your level of surprise that it's 7-3 Nomadic Tribe in this round of 16 games through the first 10 points?
I'd say coming into this game, I expected at least a close game at halftime. And frankly, I would have expected Nomadic Tribe to hang around and then Bologna's defense to power them to start pulling away maybe midway through the second half. And my expectations couldn't be further off, and maybe I need to take off this headset and just let someone else up here.
No, well, we appreciate, that's smiles after the contact, which is a good sign. It was a good body to body. I did notice that watching this Nomadic Tribe team, they are a happy bunch on the field and on the sideline. They compete hard, but they smile relentlessly, and they'll be smiling even more if they can take half here. What has been a miserable start for Bologna. Oh, just around the reach of Hermitslev. Onishi takes the reset. And Ishii wisely takes the timeout. Nomadic Tribe with a chance for a 4th break to take a 5-goal lead.
Well, I think CUSB is going to have to agree on one decisive force and just commit to that force here at all costs. We've seen how deadly the Nomadic Tribe breaks have been in the red zone. Active marks, challenging the pivot points and release points of the Nomadic Tribe throwers.
There's 2 contrasting energies right there. Obviously, Nomadic Tribe feeling good. Bologna, a team that is so based on its defensive aggression, having trouble harnessing their emotions. And we've seen the uncharacteristic mistakes, both drops and throws. We've seen them struggle to cut off the Nomadic Tribe throwing angles. And Nomadic Tribe exuding with their discipline, manipulating the space on the field. Let's see what happens here with Ishii in possession of the disc. His 6 teammates in something resembling a vertical stack. Not gonna break the mark, he does. Sacrificing yardage in the process to Onishi. Back to Ishii.
And that around backhand was a real backbreaker, just completely changing the point of attack all the way over to that far sideline.
Laying out the front of the end zone. There was a foul though. And it looks like Loris Hermitslev, the Danish defender, not contesting the call.
Little extra talk from the sidelines. Davide Mori upset about that foul call, but as you mentioned, no contest from Hermitslev.
There was more contact there. The disc out of the hands of Ishii, and it will go back to Bologna. No call. So, Nomadic Tribe literally a yard away from taking half. Out of the timeout, the Bologna defense stands tall. And Tim Sang, a guy who's played a lot of offense with Rumi Tejpar out there. Of course, this is a 0 point for Bologna. What are you seeing from this defense here from the Japanese?
There's no urgency to set a real mark. I think there's greater focus on downfield defenders in that second or third line of defense to just pick up the nearest defender and take away that throw. And it's clearly frustrating the Bologna Cutters, unsure of how to navigate it.
Yeah, there's an unnerving feeling about being a thrower without a mark, isn't there?
You feel like you're almost doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you need the sideline to remind you, hey, you've got no mark. You've got time.
Choose your own adventure. That throw high. Japan's gonna keep forcing these swings, and sooner or later, statistics suggest there will be an error. Gasparini thought about the deep shot. Tejpar was in the deep space. They've gone beyond the midfield line, and now Gasparini sending it for Tejpar, and he's got it.
And Tim Sang is fired up about that one for his team. Couple turnovers notwithstanding. Great discipline that we haven't seen on that last possession.
Yeah, it's like they finally settled down, worked it around, got it 50 yards downfield before finishing it with the 35-yard shot. And right there, so close to Takahisa Ishii to taking it to half. There's an air of similarity to the Colony Chalk game that we saw in pool play when Chalk had a chance to take it to half at 8-4, had the disc on the goal line, up by 3, could not convert. Colony goes on to hold and then breaks. Chalk takes half 8-6, but by that point, Colony had figured it out, regained momentum, and rolled in the second half. Right now, Chalk and General Strike are going head-to-head in a round of 16 game. Colony is taking on the Wildcats from New Zealand. Oh, very close there to a block near the goal line. Ivan Cantu. Japanese have not been broken yet, but the defensive intensity feels dialed up here from the Italians. Oh, and that's a borderline dangerous play, undercutting the receiver. There's a fine line between aggressive and over-aggressive. Gabriele Kailarota and Yuki Hotani colliding. And Otani appears to be all right. And at the exact moment where we are right now, we're 5 guys basically level with the disc, and there were only 2 Japanese players downfield, and the deep shot goes up into that open space, and Hona runs it down. He's got Nakao with him, and it's 8-4 at the half. Nomadic Tribe delivers, but there was a travel back 80 yards ago. So hold everything. Davide Mori on the mark. Called the travel on the huck. Judge for yourself.
Oh, yeah. Mori justified in making that call. A couple toe drags before the release and then a clear toe drag as the disc was being released.
So Nomadic Tribe has not reached 8 quite yet. A reminder, if you joined us late, this is a round of 16 game in the men's division. Winner of this game will face the winner of Toronto Goat from Canada and Chevron Action Flash from Great Britain. Another travel called, and Seki Takuya seemed to acknowledge immediately that it was a fair call. Here's an example of the Japanese happiness. Still connects with Hori. And now downfield, Komori looking for Nakao near the sideline, and he was called out of bounds. And he agrees. And Bologna counter and break Nomadic Tribe for the first time. Simonazzi initiates. Davide Mori can't make the catch.
And Mori considering calling a foul. There was contact after he came back down from his first jump attempt.
And they are going to rule it a foul. There is a video jumbotron on this field.
As this swing caught a little more air going into the crosswind, Mori goes up, and there's contact in the back of Mori from Takaharu Komori.
I think the question comes down to, without the contact, does Mori have a second effort at the disc?
You're exactly right. That's the argument there.
And it's a close call. I think it's a reasonable foul call, though. And timeout taken. Bologna with possession, looking to break for the first time.
Let's just remind ourselves here, Bologna's got a lot of work to do to really climb back into this game, but if the tide is to turn, we can't forget that at 7-3, Nomadic Tribe had the disc a yard away from the end zone, and we also just had a completed goal that was called back on a justifiable travel call. So,
and another nearly completed goal where the receiver landed on the line.
So Nomadic Tribe has certainly had its opportunities, and their D-line offense not executing with the same precision and level of discipline that we were seeing earlier in this first half.
See how Bologna aligns out of this timeout.
We've got a horizontal stack. Previously, this D-line offense had been getting things started with a vertical stack with no dump, and all of the resets being initiated from the front of the stack.
Simonazzi hits Thomas Edmonds. Patiently waits for the horizontal handler coming across. It's Filippo Simonazzi. Mine wanted his man to come underneath, and the defender, Hori, didn't realize the throw went right over his head and into the hands of Cantu. Up calls, up calls, up calls. And Bologna, so close. Up the line, Davide's got it.
Goodness gracious. Took the disc away. As we see the final seconds of this defensive break point. Mori sneaking free for that same third short distance blade, but a little miscommunication there. And Cantu, excuse me, just takes that disc away.
How do you feel about defenders face guarding like that?
I was just about to discuss the merits and challenges of face guarding. There are select moments where you need to be checking in with the primary thrower and understanding where the disc is, but the space that Cantu was in, I think the Nomadic Tribe defenders face guarding or eyes on their hips were well justified. And as you mentioned during the heat of the action, the responsibility there is on the sideline to give an aggressive up call and get that defender's attention to turn around.
Komori in pursuit, he's wide open. Beating Giovanni deep. Nomadic Tribe looking content with an 8-5 halftime lead. Of course, it could have been 8-3. This was a nice shot though. And Komori with plenty of steps, accelerating away from his defender. CUSB is the team that won its pool. Nomadic Tribe looking for the upset in the round of 16 here at Worlds.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome,
regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds.
And even defy gravity.
a place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play Ultimate, we live Ultimate.
A breezy and sunny Wednesday here at the World Ultimate Club Championships. And in this round of 16 matchup, Nomadic Tribe from Japan jumped out to a 6-2 lead, had an opportunity to take half when it was 7-3. CUSB held strong on the goal line, fought their way back, got their first break. But you look at these 13 points as a whole, and Nomadic Tribe certainly has outplayed the Italians so far.
Yeah, their speed and precision and small ball offense has been a challenge for the Coast defense to deal with. And we've talked about this multiple times here in this half, Evan, but the Nomadic Tribe D-line offense patience has been the difference maker so far. 3 for 7 on break opportunities. Compare that with Bologna, just 1 for 6. With your season on the line, your world championship aspirations on the line, Bologna has to execute at a higher level.
Tejpar making amends for his early error. But after the Bologna break, this Japanese team is willing to shoot it deep, and they have excellent speed and precision. It's 8-5 Nomadic Tribe at halftime in the World Ultimate Club Championships.
My name is Nab Rao. I'm president of the World Flying Disc Federation, or WFDF. With me, Brian Giesel, who's the vice president and ultimate chair. Luke and Reiner with me, and guys, those are some wacky shirts. So why are you here?
Now we are here because we are so thrilled that the WFDF on last Saturday informed us that we are the organizers of the 2020 World Championship.
We are really happy to get the World to Leeuwarden in the north of the Netherlands. The event will be in the heart of the city. There will be 3 venues. Ultimate players can enjoy the city can enjoy the Ultimate. We will be sure that it will be a great event.
And I've had the pleasure of being over. I came over for a site visit. And I think it's a fantastic facility. I've been to a lot of Worlds. Great fields, great hotels and everything, but the one thing that also really stood out for me was your party venue. You've got a huge theater in the middle of it, and I don't know how many rooms you're going to have going for that, but it sounds like you're going to have a great social atmosphere.
What impressed you the most about the venue here, the opening ceremony, and what's going on in terms of the tournament organization itself?
Being here in Ohio gives us a lot of lessons. We can talk to a lot of people. We talk to merchandisers, we talk to event organizers, and we talk to the players, to the teams. We're thrilled to see 3,000 people playing Ultimate. We see what they like, what they don't like. We can learn a lot from the Ultimate community. They're so friendly to each other, and we are so looking forward to have this event in the Netherlands.
I look forward to staying in a houseboat, and it'll be a lot of fun. Decided to have you guys be our partners for this, so we look forward to seeing everyone in 2020 in the Netherlands.
See you in 2020.
All right, guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, bye. See you in Leeuwarden in 2020.
Nomadic Tribe from Japan leading CUSB from Bologna, Italy, 8-5 at the half. And this is a soul-searching sequence for the Italians as they see their world championship dreams and really dreams of advancing beyond where they've been before, flashing before their eyes.
Yeah, we touched on this earlier. Interesting to note the difference in body language between these two teams as they went into the half. The Bologna squad clearly divided. A lot of the sideline help, trying to pick the spirits up, encourage their teammates, inspire some confidence, but so many of the on-field players that have been struggling defensively, looking dejected as they came off to regroup with the team for halftime, and some of that dejection is still apparent. Nomadic Tribe, on the other hand, just looks like they're having a day at the park. Happy to be hanging out with their friends and doing well.
No question about it. And every year, there are 1 or 2 upsets in this stage of the tournament. Every 4 years, I should say. at this type of event that can catch you off guard. Just got word that Iris is beating Molly Brown 10-6. So an upset alert for you there with the women from Denver who lost to Medellin Revolution to cap pool play yesterday. There's a very interesting landscape being drawn. The women's bracket, most people thought we were destined for a Molly Brown Ozone quarterfinal. And yet maybe Molly Brown won't make it there. We also could get a Brute Squad Fury quarterfinal. Rematch of the championship game from Nationals last year. Could be a quarterfinal here at Worlds.
We're gonna have to draw straws among the commentators to see who gets the fortune of narrating that one.
There's gonna be a lot of good games for our trusty crew. Honored to be a part of it. Tom Stiles and Liam Grant, Hannah Pendlebury, Becky Thompson, Emmy Fitzgerald, and our player commentators, Gina Titcomb, Kurt Gibson, Robin Wiseman, and Gigi Morrison. You've got Evan and Ian with you for the second half of Bologna and Tribe. Japanese staying with their zone defense. Up the line. And the bid is good for Mitterer. Not a bad way to start the second half.
I think the Nomadic Tribe zone got the disc where they wanted it. They wanted to keep the Bologna offense on that trap sideline so that any throws off that line have to come into the crosswind and have a greater potential of popping up or bouncing in the wind. But excellent work there by Arturo Laffi. He's been a great distributor for the Bologna offense throughout the tournament, finding Wolfgang Mitterer for his second goal of the game.
He had it the whole way. So what could have easily been 8-3, now 8-6. Final in this round of 16. Raleigh Ring of Fire from the USA has beaten Colombia's Euphoria 15-6. So Ring advances. They will play the winner of Colony and Wildcats, which we expect to be Colony, but we are ready to have our expectations confounded.
And you'll notice there on that travel call, because it was a non-throwing travel, play does not stop and it's not restarted with a player check. The thrower just needs to acknowledge the travel, go back to the appropriate point on the field, and restart play. A major difference for those of you familiar with players playing with USA Ultimate rules.
That's a great point, Ian. Stoppage here. By the way, coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern time, Clapham and Bad Skid, Fury and Mud. Bologna with an opportunity. And by Vogel, over to Tognetti. And the pace is slowing here.
And it looks like there's some disagreement over whether or not a ground check was required to bring that disc back in play.
Seems like a waste of everyone's time.
Once again, can't argue with you, Evan. you know, I think it's one thing if your defense isn't set and you're calling that, but it's another thing if you're just making a ticky-tack call to frustrate your opponent. It's hard to tell exactly what was going through Komori's mind at the moment of call.
And by Vogel with possession. Swinging it. Mine. Back to Vogel. Mori floats it to the end zone. It's 8-7. A hold and a break from Bologna to begin the second half. And you can feel the momentum shifting.
We talked about it earlier, Evan. I can't help but zero back in on those opportunities that Nomadic Tribe had towards the end of the first half to increase their margin going into halftime. Bologna would be stuck in a much larger hole at the start of this second half, and a quick hold and a break. We've got ourselves a one-goal game once again.
Well, these are the national champions from Italy and Japan from the 2017 year. Luca Tognetti catching that score and staying out on the field. Mbai Vogel, who will be 39 next week, launches the pull. And offsides was called. I find it fascinating, Ian, that game advisors signal offsides, and it's up to the receiving team to decide whether they call it, as Nomadic Tribe did here. But as far as my understanding goes, that is the only thing that game advisors signal other than the timing in between points. They don't signal inbounds or out of bounds, which they have great perspective of frequently. They don't signal the disc up or down. And they don't usually get involved in anything for about 30 to 45 seconds while the players bicker.
The junky look here from the Bologna defense, trying to clog those short, narrow throwing lanes for the Nomadic Tribe throwers and receivers. Once again, big marks pressuring those throwers. Tognetti and Mori, the anchors of those marking defensive components. And it looks like they're forcing middle more often than not. They don't want the disc to get all the way out to one sideline and let a deep shot down the line go off.
Katsuhite Hori with Davide Mori on the mark.
And just as we say that, after we had seen the force shift multiple times, Mori put on a trap mark for a brief moment, and then he switches back to a flick force to the middle of the field. A defense like this is so difficult to execute.
They're running out of room to go backwards here.
Lots of coordination and chemistry and unspoken adjustments necessary for all defenders on this squad. Understanding exactly when the force is changing, where you need to be repositioning yourself as soon as that throw goes up.
A throw to the middle of the field from this position would basically be directly into the wind at its diagonal pace that it currently whistles at. Sneaking it through that cup, Inoue gets it out of the end zone. Hori back to Namoto. Oh, the bid unsuccessful, and the deep shot connects. Nakao. Nomadic Tribe with numbers. And there's an obvious foul. Disc in the hands of Taku Hona. Bidding on the mark to prevent the around throw is Bruno Mine. Another bid unsuccessful.
And we look at the defender switching to cover that break side, and Davide Mori is quite upset with this foul call.
Well, shouldn't it be a double team if not for being the foul? Because he had 2 marks on him as he tried to get the throw around that double team without calling a violation.
Let's get another look at this here. That's great effort by Ivan Cantu, not lunging on the mark, but rather moving his feet with the thrower, shuffling laterally, and oh goodness. The way that disc wobbled, to me it seemed like it had to clearly be out of his hand, but.
And now it's uncontested, as signaled by game advisor Ruben Berg. So Nomadic Tribe trying to maintain its lead. Davide Mori, he's never been afraid of physical contact. For his sake, it's a good thing he can't foul out. Katsuhide Hori a little shaken up. He's going to stay out there. Stall count was at 7 when it was released. Italy's got the trap on the sideline, and that disc trying to sneak it up the line, batted down by Santucci Giovanni.
And that's exactly what the young Italian leader needs. He had a tough first half, and now he's figuring into the block-getting portion of his team's defensive efforts.
CUSB 70 yards from the game's first tie since it was 1-1. Pick downfield.
And this game's really slowing down. I think the Bologna offense needs to find its structure. If they're more definitively setting up their vertical stack or horizontal stack, whatever they're going with on this set.
At the moment during that stoppage, it looked like half of a vertical and half of a horizontal. This is a clear deep shot, and it's going to hang in the air, and it is going to be caught. 8-all. Well read by Giovanni, who delivers the bookends for Bologna.
Well, Giovanni, better known as Chapo among his teammates, coming to life here in the second half after getting beat deep several times in the first half. Earning that block in the red zone, peeling off his assignment, and then just maintaining position here in the deep space. As we saw him coming in for that block after his assignment had darted to the end zone.
He was beat to the end zone. If he didn't deflect that, Nomadic Tribe had the goal.
And for what it's worth, Davide Mori's backhand huck was clearly a travel. As we look at this pivot foot just pick up and drag as if he's on the golf course. But clearly the Nomadic Tribe defenders not looking at Mori's feet at the moment of release, as we have some discussions between the game advisors and Nomadic Tribe players and Chapo from Bologna.
One of the beautiful and difficult things about international ultimate is that language barrier with no authority to settle disputes, misunderstandings. Essentially a spirit timeout, but
I'm not sure where the precedent is for this in the rule book.
This is like LeBron James saying he basically broke his hand in the NBA Finals. Essentially a spirit timeout. Extending the time between points to communicate and seek understanding.
And this is a huge advantage for Nomadic Tribe because they've got their backs against the wall and they don't have to burn one of their valuable timeouts to regroup, huddle, rehydrate, get a chance to catch their breath. This all feels quite wrong to me.
Well, like the Davide Mori travel, I believe it's a quote from Blue Chips. A foul is not a foul unless the referee blows his whistle. And you can extend that analogy to ultimate unless the opposition calls the foul or calls the violation, play continues. You played at the World Ultimate Club Championships 4 years ago. How have the role of game advisors evolved from then to now, in your opinion?
Hard to say that I've noticed much difference. I know that some teams facing each other were more interested in using the game advisors as quasi-observers with their rulings or perspectives, I should say, holding greater weight, but I haven't seen much change.
Well, it's interesting, Ian. In 2014, when game advisors were first starting to be introduced, and that shot's beautiful around the zone to Otani, I was initially under the impression that they couldn't give their opinion about what happened on the field, that they could only, quote, clarify rules, unquote. And then in London in 2016, game advisors were not shy about, after a brief discussion, giving their opinion on what happened. And their opinion was not binding. There was contact there, and there was a foul, and there was no contest from the New Englander, Thomas Edmonds. Here in Ohio these past few days, it's felt to me, and we've watched a small snapshot of all the ultimate, it has felt like game advisors have been slightly more hesitant about giving their opinions on plays, especially proactively. Whereas in London, the game advisor would be, okay, this is what I saw, and now it's up to you to respect my viewpoint or not. There's a goal for Nomadic Tribe, and it's 9-8. They maintain the lead, finding Kentaro Nakao in the end zone.
Well, Nomadic Tribe needed that hold after Bologna's 3-0 run coming out of the half. And you see the Bologna offensive line running some little plyometrics as they get out to the line. It's been a few points since they've been out there and need to be fresh as we get another look at Nomadic Tribe's finish. Again, just the importance of holding the force, especially in the red zone, so close to the goal line. You know these Nomadic Tribe throwers have aggressive pivots and release points. Got to be active on your feet on the mark.
Another assist for Horry. Well, let's see, Bologna's offense was one of the Italian problems in the first half. Not too many turnover-free holds, and they struggled to get the disc back when they lost it. Hermitslav, Tejpar, Simonazzi, Laffy with Sang, Mitterer, and Gasparini. The throw was behind Gasparini. Can Bologna's O-line D put up any resistance? Up the line, floating, but caught. Hiroki Onishi sending it deep. Harito Hachiguchi elevates for Nomadic Tribe. That's a bold break from the Japanese.
Well, once again, a simple execution error costing Bologna a valuable offensive hold. And Nomadic Tribe punching back out of halftime. They lead Bologna 10-8.
Do you want to avoid overuse injuries? Cross-train. Get your exercise routine out of a routine and mix it up with a variety of activities. Your muscles, tendons, and joints will thank you later.
Off the turnover from Bologna. The Japanese using space and sending it to their deep threat, Harito Hachiguchi. Delivers the leaping grab near Hermitslev. So now Bologna, who had overcome a 4-goal deficit. Basically, this game was a pair of 6-2 runs. Nomadic Tribe led 6-2, and then CUSB answered 6-2. We were tied at 8. Nomadic Tribe has scored the last 2 and is pressuring Rumi Tejpar and Bologna in the end zone.
And if I had to make an educated guess, there's a disagreement about Tejpar calling a fast count here and the Nomadic Tribe defender acknowledging and dropping his count appropriately. Again, we don't have these game advisors mic'd up, so this is our best guess at the moment.
They did not drop the count. Masato Okada on the mark of Rumi Tejpar.
And again, that downwind sideline, such a dangerous place for Bologna to keep resetting the disc. And that's what you like to see. Sometimes you need to lose yardage and be okay with losing yardage so that you can change the point of attack. and move the disc laterally. Get yourself off that trap sideline.
Looking for the deep shot. Tejpar runs it down. He still has a good 10-15 yards to go to the end zone. Gasparini downfield, the swing for Franchini. Kopi resets. Franchini using the pivot to the open side.
I've said that once or twice before, Evan, but that's just an anticlimactic end to the point when at the World Championships you see someone getting beat to the four-side cone on a simple underneath cut. That's just not World Championship level defense.
My hesitation is I saw the game advisor waving his arms as to indicate there was a pick or a stoppage. And no one else presumably saw that, and the goal stands. So CUSB within one on the open side shot from Franchini. Lorenzo Pavan, the clap catch. Quarterfinals in the men's division will be tomorrow. 2 of the quarters will be at 9 a.m., 2 of the quarters will be at 11 a.m., and the men's semifinals will be at 9 a.m. on Friday. The men's final, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, broadcast on Stadium on Saturday. Maybe a good time to remember that Nomadic Tribe played a universe point game, winning over Dominican Republic Relampagos this morning, while Bologna slept in. That disc caught over Mbai Vogel. It was Yuki Otani, and Nomadic Tribe breaking away. Kamori resets to Hori. Nemoto into the end zone. And Davide Mori place kicks the pylon. And the Cleveland Browns might want to give him a look. 11-9 Nomadic Tribe on what for them is one of their easier offensive holds of the game.
Well, I would say it was an easier offensive hold in the final half of the field. Bologna had to be happy with the defensive attempt or the chance at the block that they earned at midfield. Mbai Vogel so close to getting that block on the hanging shot up to midfield, and then Nomadic Tribe just continuing to fast break after that turnover. And here's a look at the mid-range shot that hung, and Mbai Vogel had an opportunity to make a play from the backside, but Otani boxing out his assignment, and
can't even see the pylon on the screen. That's how far Mori booted it. They found it, got it back in place. 11-9, Nomadic Tribe leads. The drama builds at the Lebanon Sports Complex in Ohio. Arturo Laffey tried to get it through. The horizontal bid from Nomadic Tribe got the disc, and the collision after the fact was violent. Believe that was Hiroki Onishi, whose head caught the leg of the Italian player.
as we get a look at that shot through the cup, and I think there's an argument for a dangerous play on Onishi's part because there's no way he completes that bid without impacting DeLuca.
And his health. Hopefully he's gonna be okay, but it does not look good. DeLuca, who's been quiet in this game, Ian. Young 17-year-old standout for the Italians. Nomadic Tribe takes over.
Clear emphasis on a handler weave after this turnover. The stack pushing deep to give space for those 3 handlers to take over and work amongst themselves.
And none of the 4 players downfield even cutting at all. They're just getting out of the way and turning this into a 3-on-3 possession.
If I'm a Bologna downfield defender, now's the time to maybe poach off a little bit and try and blow up one of those strike cuts.
Ooh, looked like Sang may have deflected that slightly, but it was caught by the handler anyway. Ishii floats it past the bidding Sang again. Ahead, it's Hona. Stall count rising and a pick called. DeLuca on the mark.
Goodness, if Sang wasn't chasing his assignment around on that backhand side of Onna, he would have had a backhand break shot to the end zone.
Hona floats it to space, really well done. Shy of the goal line, it's Niwa. Little push pass back. Nomadic Tribe players running in circles. Tejpar's bid did not get there. And if he was in bounds,
I think Tejpar may be claiming that he got the disc, or that it looks like he's claiming that he got the disc first. And he motions to the monitor, and they're going to look at the replay. We see the hammer come in.
and I think both players, even after the replay, think they got it first.
Oh, goodness. I think Tejpar had his hand on that disc first. That angle is more definitive.
We can see that last angle again and slow it down.
Yeah.
You could argue, look at the top hand.
But that top hand did not stop the rotation. The top hand touched the disc, but it did not stop the rotation and constitute possession. Tejpar's coming underneath that.
They're going to send it back. Heck of a bid from Tejpar. Soaring through the air with this round of 16 game reaching its peak. Japan converts. Nomadic Tribe back up by 3.
I'm not so sure about that call. That's sitting quite wrong with me. Especially after they've got a chance to look at the replay, and just a quick look here at the offhand backhand into the end zone, finishing that off. So difficult to defend against.
I'm thinking about Brandon Malachek and the Buzz Bullets from Lecco 4 years ago. Tejpar this time.
And look, I don't disagree that the Nomadic Tribe receiver may have gotten his right hand touching the disc first. But it did not look to me that he had closed his hand on the disc and grabbed possession. It looked like Tejpar's first point of contact was having that underneath, upside down hand possession.
So it's 12-9, and CUSB staring up at a steep hill. This feels like must score for Italy. Time could be a factor in that we may not get to 15, but time is not a factor in that. Oh, the goodness gracious, the bid. Tejpar appears to be calling a foul, to the dismay of Ken Yamagami, who was right there. It is uncontested. Let's take a look. Hard to tell from that angle. Tejpar takes the deep shot, and he's got Mittera wide open. So you give one, you get one. It's 12-10.
You know, if we're being ultra technical from a coaching perspective, DeLuca's got to put that disc higher and on Tejpar's outside shoulder. The lower and closer to the inside shoulder that those in-cut throws go, the greater opportunity you're going to give the defense at making a play on the disc.
After the restart, the deep shot goes off, and Mittera easily tracks it down. We talked at the start of this game, at the start of this tournament, about the Bologna defense, the aggressiveness, the sophistication. Can they dial up something spicy right here to get a break, to inch back within one? A berth in the quarterfinals at the World Championships is on the line. Oh, nearly a Callahan. Mori was inches away, but Nomadic Tribe maintains possession.
He's already had at least one of those this weekend, snagging one in Bologna's decisive victory over Clapham in pool play.
Contact there. The two 27 shirts, Giovanni and Nakao. Low throw dug out by Nakao. It's funny, and I think both these teams' D-lines would love for the wind to be about 50% more intense. It's a steady breeze right now, but it's nothing violent. But the way these teams play zone, they're tough to traverse in these conditions. Imagine if it was another 5-10 miles an hour.
Well, I wonder how clean a game we'd be seeing from either offensive unit.
Without a doubt, for the most part, Nomadic Tribe has been the more patient team. Illustrated by Hona resetting it, and the swing around to Nakao. Athletic bid, mine pop back up. Nakao takes the shot. It's floating, and Nomadic Tribe is there. Taku Hona runs it down and poses with a 3-goal lead.
Well, time's running out here for Bologna. Their brief comeback out of half has been matched by the patience of Nomadic Tribe. 13-10. Tribe ahead with the clock ticking down.
Heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
Nomadic Tribe leading 13-10. Just around 4 minutes away from the cap. Thankfully, no one's going to win this game by giving up a goal. You have to score to prevail. CUSB needs a hold and 3 breaks. When you put it like that, it feels like a really difficult task against this Nomadic Tribe squad. Well, the block charge call is the toughest in basketball, and in ultimate, it doesn't exist. But if it did, people would argue about it just as much as they do in the NBA.
I'm dating myself here, but back in the days of that bastion of ultimate knowledge, Rec Sport Disc, the Florida...
Unbelievable stuff from Koichi Wada. Soaring through the disc, the catch block for Nomadic Tribe, and he's going to take a sub. Quick note, and we got word that the doctor has officially cleared Hiroki Onishi, who made that layout D into the Bologna player. Just a bruise, not a concussion. Meanwhile, Wada soaring for the D. I love those Rec Sport Disc days.
Well, back in those days, Florida and Carleton had no love lost between them, and they'd put together highlight clips asking to put the flop in the rule book.
Nomadic Tribe thought about the deep shot. Tejpar sets the mark on Yoshida, who sends it long, and it's ripped away. Oh, great defense from the 17-year-old Alessandro De Luca, perhaps saving Bologna's hopes in this tournament. And quickly across midfield go the Italians.
Took Nomadic Tribe so long to recover and identify their assignments after that turnover. Bologna just fast breaking all the way down the field.
Swing of the momentum pendulum again. Very close to being 14-10. We could easily be back at 13-11 in just a couple of moments. Simonazzi to Sang, to Gasparini. Around the edge, Simonazzi. He's unmarked. And there was a pick in the middle of the field, which led to Mitsuda getting so wide open. He's got one step on his defender, but pretty good defense by Nomadic Tribes. Yusuke Nagashima to recover. And now the open side lane clears away for De Luca, who is single-handedly keeping Bologna in this pre-quarterfinal game.
Bookends for the 17-year-old on this point. As you mentioned, Evan, saving what would have been a back-breaking back and just attacking the force side here in the end zone. Undoubtedly the most valuable player at this point. And more often than not, De Luca is not necessarily the flashiest player on the pitch. He's just a model of consistency for this O-line, functioning as another cog. And he's really called upon to make a stellar defensive play on that previous point.
His teammates have talked about how composed he is, maturity beyond his years. This deep shot would have made it 14-10, and DeLuca intervened. So we're going to play a game to 14 right now, which means Nomadic Tribe can win it here. Time has expired. So it's do or die time for Bologna. They need 3 breaks in a row to advance to the quarterfinals. Thought about the deep shot.
And after several junk looks earlier on, Bologna coming down in man-to-man defense.
Here's the deep shot for a bid to the quarterfinals. Oh, contact from behind. And no call is made. Perhaps uncatchable, although certainly a borderline dangerous bid. Desperation from Giovanni.
On first glance, that looked undoubtedly like a foul to me. Clear contact in the back, a dangerous play. Very surprised to see.
Low throw kept alive by Cantu. Mine and Cantu involved in this critical point for Bologna, and by Vogel. He's not intimidated by the moment, been in so many big games, and yet he throws it to the defender, Hona, the layout D, dishes to the end zone. Kentaro Nakao celebrating the upset as Nomadic Tribe lives on to the quarterfinals at the World Ultimate Club Championships.
Well, anyone who thought the Japanese would not be well represented in the final standings of the men's division coming into this tournament with no buzz bullets present, clearly underestimating this Nomadic Tribe squad and their potential as they surprise arguably the strongest team from the European contingent. And they'll advance to most likely face GOAT.
I'll play either GOAT or Chevron Action Flash tomorrow at 9 a.m. Heartbreak for the gentlemen from Bologna as they fall short. What a game. The Japanese jumped out 6-2. Bologna responded, tied it at 8. And then Japan went back in front 12-9, 13-10, 13-11. Bologna had the disc. A game full of spectacular highlights, but the best of all from Taku Hona at the end. This was to take half. Hashiguchi going up to the peak, and the Japanese deliver. Just an incredible game to begin bracket play in the men's division, and a privilege to be there for it. Ian, your final takeaway as Nomadic Tribe advances.
GOAT's gonna have to make some really solid defensive adjustments.
We'll see if it's GOAT and Nomadic Tribe tomorrow. For Ian Toner, this is Evan Lepler saying so long for now. Hona to Nakao. Nomadic Tribe moving on to the quarterfinals at Worlds.